All right, lots of work being done on the GTO. Got the roof all stripped, check that out. And happy to say it's in pretty good shape, except for that. That sucks. Previously on the GTO build, we bought somebody else's project, took it home, reassembled the engine, dynoed the engine, rebuilt the entire front suspension, did some more welding, put the body back on again, got quarter panels put on at the auto body down the shop, then took it back home again. This is not a primer, it's a protective cover. We've done the initial blocking on the car, we straightened the edge, and then we're throwing it in the trailer and it's heading to the paint booth to get the initial coat of epoxy put on it. So at this point, we have a few options. We can spend a couple hours making a piece. It's difficult because it curls this way, and then there's a 90 for the window ledge, and then it goes around the corner this way, and then has another little lip coming up on the edge here that the drip rail goes to. And that's a lot to take in. So we went to a Wreckers and found this little gem. I'm pretty verbal of why I don't like Ford, and mainly it's because they change up their parts so often that even halfway through a production year is different from the previous 6 months, and it's hard getting parts. Now, I like GM because I like building my own stuff, and a lot of the parts are interchangeable, and it's been that way for a long, long time. So I'm smiling because this roof off of a 4-door 1965 Buick LeSabre family car is the same roof line as a 67 Pontiac GTO. I can take this little corner out, I can weld that in, and it will be as good as new. Now, that makes me happy because a whole roof skin to us is $360 US at 70 cents on the dollar. That's somewhere around 500 bucks, plus shipping, another 60 bucks, plus taxes and brokerage and waiting. The roof skin alone would set us back about 650 bucks, and then we'd still have to take the whole time and labor to replace it. The whole roof is fine, except for this corner. Go to Wreckers, see some really cool old cars rotting away in the weeds, future projects, you never know, and you end up with something like this. It makes you happy. I can tinker with this. I'm gonna be in a good mood when I weld this in because I paid $20 for that piece, and it will be as good as new. I love it. Here we go. Okay, so I cut out this strip here on the very face of it, just cut it out. That'll give me the profile of this because it kind of curls down and it curls back a little bit. So I bent this up in the brake, followed the corner there. I put that in this piece. You can see that matches pretty nice. And then this contour as it goes down. So I'm about ready to weld that in. I'll just clean that up a little bit, spray a little bit of paint on the back side, and we're golden. Here we go. All right, so we're getting closer, but we're still gray here, black here, and green there. We need to make it all one color, which is this color, shiny bare steel. So to do that, we use a nylon tipped brush. You can get these off Amazon. I'll put the link on there. It's best to use it on something that has a variable speed. You can use it on a normal grinder, but it's nice to be able to feather it a little bit. We've got a couple grinds to weld off yet here and there. Basically, we're just starting from the back, working our way forward. This is not a primer, it's a protective cover. That's cheap to keep it from rusting while it's in the store or laying on the shelf or stacked, however they do it. We gotta get that off so we can get a good epoxy on it, and then we're gonna put a matte black on it. It's just, there's just no rhyme or reason to it. It's just a lot of work. I don't know whether it's time lapse or what. Here we go. This is what the top half looks like. Still gotta do the bottom half. So flip her over, and go at it again. And then in the morning, I'll come back and go, what is wrong with you, Rich? You left a spot there, and you left a spot there, and you left a spot there. You left a little spot there, see it? But that's just what you gotta do. It's about 10 o'clock now. That took about 2 hours. So 2 hours to flip the other side. Lots of fun, here we go. I do have to strip the rest of the roof yet. I have to strip the inside of the car a little bit. We need to get the last of that ugly, cheap ass primer off of it. A little bit of welding yet. Just some pinholes here and there that we're coming across. This is looking fantastic. Got that all stripped off. Of course, it needs going over yet. We've done the initial blocking on the car. We straightened the edge. And what I mean we is the body shop owner's son. So we've basically done the main skim just on where it was low. Fixed a little bit on the bottom. We've got this other door done. I'm gonna pull the glass out. We've got the trunk done, and just the trunk was actually in the best shape, just a couple really small spots. And then our hood, and our hood was actually the worst. Couple little dings and dents here. There's one little ding here, it was a little low right there. And it was also low where the ram air was. As it sits right now, I need to spend probably 10 hours on the body itself, just doing the last couple finishing touches on it, and then we're throwing it in the trailer and it's heading to the paint booth to get the initial coat of epoxy put on it. Think of epoxy being a glue, so it'll glue the next layer onto the steel or whatever layer's on before that. Picking up the exhaust for this afternoon. I gotta get on the transmission. So much to do. We'll make a full video on the transmission, but that's where we're at. So stick around, hold tight. It's exciting times. Yeah, so where we're at right now is we sanded the whole bottom of it with our flapper wheel. So this is basically the finish that we're gonna get. That's like a really cheap paint that they put on just to keep it from rusting in the store. So I gotta do the rockers yet, the wheel wells yet, the firewall, and then the inside.
It's almost pretty enough the way it is. Just put a clear on it and just leave it like that, you know? That shines like a jewel right now.
It looks weird on camera. It's hard to explain. Like it looks, you see the shadows. Shimmery. Yeah, you see the shadows and it looks weird, but if you look real close, I don't know if Aaron's camera is better or not, but it is just a really nice finish on the paint. The absence of paint, I guess. So I got to go through and we'll sand all the black off of the firewall yet, but there will be little pinholes pretty well everywhere. Like I think there's one. So I just got to clean all those little spots up, and then we'll epoxy the entire car. Then we have to pull the hood and the trunk and everything out of the paint booth because they're ready to come home again. Then we need to paint the bottom black and the inside black. Leave it. Tape off the inside and the outside and the bottom, and then paint a spray putty that we're gonna put on the outside. We've done the initial blocking on it. We got just this piece is left on the outside. We'll put a spray putty on it, bring it back, assemble it, start blocking the car as a whole, set up all the lines, and then we gotta bring it back and forth. Hopefully only 1 or 2 more times. We gotta tape off the whole bottom, and then epoxy the whole thing, block it, epoxy it, block it, and then it'll be ready for paint.
Awesome.
A lot of work. It's coming together really nice. So.
I mean, when we started this 4 years ago, we thought,
was it 4 years ago?
1 year, it'll be done.
I thought it was 3 years. So here's where we're at. This car is originally a Mariner turquoise color, which is a nice color, but Hoogie and I thought, well, the engine's not numbers matching, but it's period correct. Eventually we'd like to put maybe a sniper or something on it. Nothing too major, maybe get into heads or whatever. We don't know what the plans are, but it's not numbers matching, and that's the key thing. We took a book from the body shop and had about 1,000 colors on it. Hoogie went through it, I went through it, we both picked 3 colors, and of those 3 colors, one of them was the same. So it was a variation of the Mariner turquoise, but it was darker and had a little bit more metallic in it. Kind of a modern spin-off maybe, if you will. But we're thinking maybe we should go original color. The plan was always to sell it after a year or two, maybe make some money off of it. Maybe not. It was a project that we're both enjoying. So give us your input. Should we make it the original color? Should we do our own little spin-off on it? I don't have the book with me to tell you what, or to show you the color, but it doesn't make much sense anyway because the camera distorts stuff. But that also brings up the point, we are gonna sell it. If somebody was serious on buying it, we would be happy to have you walk through the shop, take a look at the car, take a look at exactly where it is before we put any paint on it whatsoever, and put a deposit down maybe, and you can pick your own color. So if you're that guy, you can hit us up at debossgarage@gmail.com. Otherwise, comment down below whether we should stick to the original color of it or whether we should make it our own and go with that. It's not a 100-point car. It'll never be a 100-point car, but it is that. I'd like to think that if a 100-point car is a 98, 99% car, we're up to somewhere 85, 90%. We've got some good talent that's helping us out, and I'm pretty proud of all the work that we've done so far. So comment down below, keep watching, lots of good stuff happening. This stuff, not huge video stuff because everything is tedious and time consuming right now, but lots of good stuff happening. So